The Stampede arc is super hot right now. Not only have there been developments specific to the individual characters such as Gizalm, Jade, and Edo, but there are also many mysteries and hints, which makes it interesting. It is not yet complete, but this time, I will introduce the highlights. I will introduce it in 5 main sections. Strong characters appear one after another, and there are many highlights, such as the plot of the character who was the trigger for Lloyd's reincarnation. First of all, the royal family is in a panic after receiving a report that a large group of monsters has been spotted. At that time, the first prince and princess return from their expedition. This is their first appearance scene. Personally, I think the first prince has had a high regard for Lloyd from the beginning, and senses that he is hiding something from her. Afterwards, after a happy reunion, we eat a meal and hear about the strength and accomplishments of the first prince and princess. Apparently, thanks to these two, the country's land area has expanded tenfold. They've been called the strongest knight order, and they're amazing. I can't believe there are still more strong characters hidden away. I'm curious to see what other hidden royals there are. Then they talk about the Stampede. It happened 10 years ago, and they say that at that time, the Stampede numbered 200,000. The two are acting all high and mighty. The second prince is completely exhausted, and the army is 7 times larger than last time, which means 1.4 million. This is, as you would expect, no joke. He couldn't hide his agitation. He was close to saying, "Don't mess with me." That's a lie. Even Lloyd had a difficult look on his face. There were 7 groups, each with 200,000. That's a total of 1.4 million. They'll arrive at Saloon in about 20 days. The number of soldiers we can prepare is 300,000. This is pretty dangerous. There is an overwhelming shortage of troops. Despair hits them, but then more tragic news hits. The leader of the knights, known as the Sword Saint, has fought with the leader of the pack and gone missing. A great hero, loved by both the people and the royal family, has gone missing. That person is Silpha's father. Even Silpha can't hide her shock. Then the military council begins. It seems that if they attack all the way to the Continental Gate, it will be dangerous. Lloyd sneaks into the military council, but is bored. This scene is cute and funny. This sudden scene is the charm of this manga, isn't it? Then the first prince plays a game of chess called Heige, and thinks of a strategy. The problem is that the power of the 7 masters is as strong as or even stronger than that of Silpha's father. Therefore, we predict that the power of the 7 masters is that of SS-class super monsters. Apparently the Adventurers Guild has also determined what constitutes an S-class monster, with a guideline that it is the fighting power of 10,000 monsters. SS-class monsters have yet to be measured. In any case, the first prince says that since there are not enough troops, he should appoint Lloyd as his adjutant and gather 5,000 soldiers. The second prince disagrees, saying that he will prepare an adjutant to rival him. Then the lieutenant appeared. That person was Sias, the magician who had been defeated in Lloyd's previous life before he was reincarnated. However, Lloyd himself had no memory of it. The story goes back to when the second prince was a small child, when a commoner child approached him. That was Lloyd in his previous life. The two became good friends, but one day Lloyd in his previous life was defeated by Sias. It seems Sias was not happy with the way he interacted with the second prince as a commoner. This caused the second prince deep sadness. This is the description from Volume 1. Lloyd in his previous life was a little more mature. This setting seems like an afterthought. Then the story goes back to the second prince, who has hated Sias ever since. Sias doesn't know that Lloyd has been reincarnated, so he greets him by shaking his hand. But then he suddenly starts playing a game between magicians called Magic Matching. It seems to be a game where you take turns using the same amount of magic, but Lloyd goes too far from here. This made me laugh when I first saw it. Suddenly, an incredible magical power attacks Sayas. As expected, Sayas is frightened. From this point on, we start to get a better understanding of Sayas' character. The scene changes, and the task becomes gathering 5,000 soldiers. Lloyd grabs Grimo's face and starts to visualize it. Grimo is so cute here. It seems that Sayas is using money and power to gather soldiers. So, how will Lloyd gather them? Of course, he tries to do so using his magical powers, which he is good at. Suddenly, things took an unexpected turn. Lloyd got started right away. He created a space and used magic to create a vessel. Next, he used sacred magic to create armor and a helmet. Eventually, Grimoire noticed the abnormal situation. He wondered how much magic power he was constantly leaking. 5 minutes of this was enough for one alter magic spell. Even Jiden and Ito were frightened by this abnormal situation. I will explain alter magic and Ito in another video. Basically, the plot develops into a situation where everyone should use their magical powers to control these. However, the number of people they can control varies depending on the amount of magical power they possess. Jiden and Ito's classes can barely handle 1,000. By the way, Jiden can handle 1,000 with some spare power. In reality, it seems like he can handle 2,000. And it seems that Jiden has known the missing sword master for a while. What kind of past or connection does he have here? Since he is a former pope, there seems to be some kind of connection. And now things get really exciting. It's when Babylon goes to scout Stunbeat. There's an unexpected reunion, but for more details, please watch this video. They are training their magical soldiers, but have trouble because there is a lack of people who can handle them. They search for Dao and the others but can't find them, so they ask for help from past enemies and adventurers from the guild. The survival of the country is at stake, after all. They should cooperate. This kind of development is super exciting, right? And finally, it is time for the unveiling. Lloyd's squad has exceeded 10,000. That's double the quota. The second princes are understandably scared. As expected, Sayas starts to make a fuss. They hold a mock battle, but Sayas' squad is easily defeated. Lloyd has an expression on his face that is both boastful and indescribable. He tells the second princes that Ito made it with alchemy, since saying that Lloyd made it would cause problems. He skillfully and carefully lifts it up so that Sayas shuts up. In the end, it is revealed that Ito and Lloyd created it. The second prince, who knew everything, tells Sayas that he is below Lloyd, leaving Sayas with a runny nose and Lloyd with a smug look on his face. Next, they find Dao and Chen and try to use their special skill to find the leader of the knights. It seems that the key skill that Dao and the others can use is presence detection. Lloyd is surprised to hear from the second prince that when the monsters reach the Continental Gate at the deadline, the kings plan to use alter magic. As I said again, I will explain alter magic in another video. In any case, it is a dangerous magic. Next, the group begins marching with the soldiers. Along the way, various new characters appear and fight, but Lloyd is in big trouble as he loses control of his magical powers and goes out of control. The slightest thing can cause his magical powers to overflow, resulting in problems, making this a scary new character. And now we will introduce the SS class boss. This is very interesting. It's interesting, but there is absolutely no information available at the moment. One is unconfirmed, but the rest seem to be dungeon bosses. All of them are unique characters, and some are huge and look like treasure chests, which seems interesting. There are 7 bosses, each with a group of 200,000 monsters. The Stunbeat arc is still ongoing, but what kind of developments await us? This is just my personal speculation, but I think there may be an expansion in which one of them becomes a friend. There is one character that has yet to be revealed, but it seems like he has some connection with Lloyd. Will he end up becoming a friend or partner? Or maybe Lloyd did something wrong in the past and now he's a sworn enemy. There are various theories about the cause of the Stunbeat, including the concentration of magical power. Maybe it's some kind of man-made cause, an attack by Tartarus aimed at Lloyd. Maybe they'll revive Gizalm, focus Lloyd's attention, and then attack while he's distracted. First of all, when Gizalm was being resurrected by Tartarus, he heard the name of Tartarus and responded by asking, "What's that name?" This may be revealed in the Stun Beat arc. This is the end of the main story. Thank you for watching and liking my videos. It's encouraging. In addition, I would be happy if you could continue to subscribe to my channel. I'm not sure whether to explain about Ito and Tartarus next. I would be happy if you could let me know in the comments. See you next time. This time, I will be explaining about Jade. I will mainly be explaining about Jade's past, combat abilities, and Gizalm. If you don't like spoilers, please be careful. The Stun Beat arc is particularly exciting. First, a special guild member sneaks into Lloyd's castle, but Lloyd finds out and follows him. At that time, Jade's name comes up for the first time in a conversation between the guild members. Jade is the leader of the guild members. As Lloyd watches what's going on, he is spotted by a sexy female member, and a battle begins. Each of these members had a special ability, and they were a lonely group of people who were feared and disliked by those around them. As they fought Lloyd, they gradually came to realize that he was a dangerous guy. When Lloyd imitated Silpha's swordsmanship, the guild members remembered unpleasant memories. The development from this point on got me excited when I read it. This is a story from before Silpha became an adventurer. Silpha was on her way to a certain dungeon. I won't go into the details here, so please check out this video. It was when a guild member was being beaten up by Silpha. Yes, it was when they were beaten up so badly that it became traumatic. It was the moment when they thought, "This is bad, I can't take it anymore." A figure illuminated by the moonlight. Silpha recognized the presence of a newcomer. A strong enemy whose presence Silpha could not even sense. The newcomer prepared to kick, and Silpha thought that there must be an unknown attack in store. At that moment, Silpha was curious, and for some reason, she did not even try to dodge the guard, but instead tried to receive the kick. But she was wrong. And incredibly powerful, just a kick. Something no ordinary kick. The newcomer was a fellow guild member. So, who is this newcomer? We'll finally find out. After a series of events, the guild members fight Lloyd, but of course there is no way they can win and they get beaten to a pulp. However, when Lloyd explains that he is having trouble with the special abilities of the guild members, Lloyd uses cheat magic to help them stop their abilities from going out of control. As thanks for their help, the members tell him their life stories, but Lloyd is not interested. However, when they start talking about Jade's abilities, he immediately starts listening. The members gathered together as if drawn to Jade. The group of Norware, each with their own problems, were searching for ways to gain dignity and rights with their own hands. It was then that Jade confessed his background and true identity to his companions. Jade was the son of the Lord of Rhodes. He explained that he had gathered his companions in order to gain the power to stop the fighting within the territory, but his companions were merely like, so what? Rather, they believed that they were where they are today thanks to Jade. So, in order to protect them, Jade returned to Rhodes' territory alone. It had been several months since then, and Jade had not returned. While Grimo burst into tears after hearing the story, Lloyd had this expression. When I first read it, I laughed. Then, as each of them poured out their feelings, they discussed what they could do now that Jade was gone. and decided to take a new step toward unity by welcoming Lloyd, their benefactor, as their boss. Suddenly, an envelope appears in front of them. Everyone thinks it's from Mark and that Jade has sent it using his teleportation ability, so they open it. Lloyd is not satisfied. The letter says that they are sorry for the late reply, and that everything has been resolved, so as they promised, they will all live together in Rhodes. Everyone cheers with joy when they read it. They then ask Lloyd to use magic on Jade to stop his ability from going out of control, just like they did with the others. But before that happens, Lloyd shares a hypothesis. Maybe Jade can already control his powers. But spatial teleportation is something no one has been able to do yet, even Lloyd, who has cheat abilities. This causes doubts about Jade and makes everyone confused. However, Lloyd, who is interested in spatial transfer, is eager to go. He leaves a letter for those who are worried about Lloyd to come. Incidentally, Lloyd has changed out of the clothes that were torn in the battle. After Lloyd and the others left, Silpha arrived. She has the incredible ability to smell Lloyd's scent. There, she finds a note left by Lloyd, and returns to the castle to have everyone read it. The princes believe that Lloyd has been taken away or kidnapped, so they cannot bring themselves to fight Lordstone no matter what. They hesitate, believing that fighting is only a last resort, but when the people who love Lloyd see Lloyd's freshly removed underwear, they decide to start a fight. The group arrives at Lordost territory on guard, but is greeted with an unexpected hospitality. They are soon reunited with Jade. The group is happy to be reunited and sheds tears, but Jade's dismissive and unnatural remark makes them freeze in place. Suddenly, Jade launches an attack on his friends. The friends have no idea what's happened. Then Grimo returns and uses his special move on Jade. Grimo screams, "This guy is dangerous, he's too dangerous." But at that moment, he is hit with a powerful kick from Jade and sent flying. Then Jade begins to speak. Basically, there was a reason why the demons had taken over Jade's body. Norware's body seems particularly easy to adapt to demons and devils. Jade, who thought his friends would be in danger if things continued like this, made a decision. However, the demons would not allow this. Jade's mind broke and he disappeared from this world. All the residents of Lodost were taken over by the demons. This situation was far too unreasonable and absurd. A one-sided situation where he could do nothing against the powerful attacks. Having suddenly been told of his departure from Jade, his feelings for Jade and feelings of regret came flooding back to him. At that moment, suddenly, a shining object appeared directly above and a spell was cast. An impact and an explosion instantly hit. Its true identity was Lloyd. The rest of the group takes refuge in Lloyd's manly words, "I'll take care of it," and runs away. Lloyd immediately unleashes a relentless succession of magic on the demons chasing them. Grimoire then explains about demons. Gizalm is no ordinary demon. Demons are ranked from 1st to 10th grade, and Gizalm is on top of that. He's an aristocrat of the demon world, in other words a demon. It seems that demons look down on demons. And the demon is a giant monster that even 100 first-class demons combined cannot handle. Without a doubt, he is by far the biggest enemy they have fought so far. So, what will happen? After introducing themselves, they continue to try and figure each other out. According to Gizalm, when Jade tells Lloyd that he had wanted to meet him when he was alive, Lloyd says that he had wanted to meet him as well. The background to this will be explained later in the story. Even Lloyd's strong barrier is about to break down due to Gizalm's powerful mass attacks. Add to that Jade's signature kick. Although it's actually Gizalm who does the kicking, Lloyd momentarily becomes impatient at his teleportation ability. Gizalm is able to use the teleportation ability that Jade was unable to master. This is a major advantage. Gizalm has named it Shadow Wolf. As expected, he is on a different level and in strength to his previous enemies. So how will Lloyd defeat him? Lloyd struggles against Gizalm's powerful Shadow Wolf. Through trial and error, Lloyd fights while coming up with countermeasures against Gizalm. He summons a large number of clay dolls, but it has no effect on Gizalm. Meanwhile, Lloyd is actually trying to figure out the Shadow Wolf's magic formula. In other words, it's not like Lloyd is struggling that much, and he even has some leeway. As always, Lloyd is incredible. To respect Jade's will above all else, Lloyd does not give up even in difficult situations, and uses magic to enter Jade's conscious state. When Lloyd arrives, he finds a beautiful and carefully engraved magic formula. When Lloyd reads it, he understands it in an instant. Then the fun ends. Lloyd beats him to a pulp. Lloyd understands the Shadow Wolf's magic formula, so even if Gizalm uses it to move, he knows where he's going and can catch up. He has immense magical power, and even though at first Lloyd said he couldn't teleport, when he can, it makes him seem even more like a cheat, doesn't it? I feel a bit sorry for Gizalm. With Lloyd's strong provocation, Gizalm's competitive spirit explodes. He begins to activate what could be called a hidden technique. When I first saw it, I thought it looked a little like a technique from a manga featuring a certain Saiyan. Then, the scene shifts to the moment before Jade passed away. Jade was sure that in the future, Lloyd would defeat Gizalm, so he perfected the teleportation technique. However, Lloyd easily erases Gizalm's powerful technique. Moreover, he casts a similar technique with ease. Even Gizalm is frightened and surprised by this. Angered, Gizalm touches Lloyd's body in an attempt to take over his own. Just like Grimoire did back then, he is completely frightened by Lloyd's incredible magical power. Lloyd then issues a sentence to Gizalm. Then, dozens of voids attack Gizalm, and the battle is over. And one day, Jade's dream or wish was fulfilled by Lloyd, but Jade wasn't there, and Len and the others shed tears. From here on, please be especially careful of spoilers. I was surprised when I was reading. It's a very exciting development. Gizalm was alive. I never thought he had a hand in it. What's more, he's returned, incredibly powered up. Since the Stun Beat arc hasn't ended yet, I don't know the details, such as what Gizalm's goal is, but I wonder how he'll be involved, and whether there will be a rematch with Lloyd. What is his goal? I'm looking forward to finding out. This is the end of the main story. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel and give it a high rating as it will encourage me. See you next time.